again to another episode of Walking the Weird. I am Tyler, and as with me as always,
It's Sean.
and Sean has apparently another abduction case for us. Um, let's see how this goes because his
It's
track record isn't too good for the fun ones.
I
It's
brought
just pain.
I brought pictures this time too.
Oh,
You know.
oh, great, great.
So
Pictures of old dead people. Awesome. Thank
no,
you.
I don't. What is he done? Yeah, he died in 1991. Just wanted to make sure. Sorry, I was like, is he dead? All right, this is actually um an alien rapey case.
Oh, yep.
It's
Right, right.
and not the
Just
not the fun kind of rapey, not the probe one where you're like experimenting and then you wake up in the Nevada desert like after for like 3 days. Not the
okay.
good
The
one.
operative word was fun.
I mean, it's okay. Okay, this case is like the fun part. It's like the Asian transsexual that your friends hire for your birthday that you kind of secretly want but don't really want. But you're just like, all right, maybe.
This is getting worse. Anyway, go ahead.
You're like, I can't imagine that scenario at all.
It's like, well, I I'm hurting.
So this
I'm
case,
hurting already.
so this case is the case of Antonio Vilas Boas, right?
Hmm.
He was born in 1934, died 1991. He was a Brazilian farmer. He later became a lawyer in his life who claimed that to have been abducted by extraterrestrials in 1957. Though similar stories had circulated years beforehand, Vilas Boas claims were among the first alien abduction stories to receive wide attention. Some skeptics today consider the abduction story to be a little bit more than a hoax. So they thought it was a hoax. Most people think it's a hoax.
Which makes sense.
I believe it's a hoax because dude, this thing goes. Oof. Anyway,
But sometimes that's almost like it's so crazy it might actually be true. Like,
it might be because okay, this one is the story about how he got abducted and he eventually returned and he went through deep hypnosis and he explained, I guess, a rape encounter or a
this is
sexual
this
encounter.
this is a story all about how my life got just turned upside down.
Literally, he got flipped turned upside down, like literally, because you can't imagine what kind of like geeky shit like
Because
aliens
that's
are.
what you just described. That. Sorry, that's was my
No,
in my head the
no,
entire. I'm like, yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
absolutely. After you hear some of the kinky shit that the aliens are into, you're gonna be like, that shit needs to be like on a website or something. Like you need to pay your credit card for that. We might actually put a link to pay for it, like pay per view special dubs. Anyway, stupid. Fucking our temporary producer Andy is back there going like, "What idiots." Anyway, so the reason that this story got that much fucking publicity is because again, it's of the sexual, or as they call it, alien rape nature. Like hashtag bleep bloop, but it's like
That,
me too. You know what I mean?
that'll do it.
Wait, what?
That'll do it.
Bleep bloop? Oh,
Yeah, no,
alien
like
rape? I'm
no,
not
I'm
into
not
alien rape.
into alien rape.
I know
Like,
that there's some people. There's some people who fuck around with. I don't know if Singapore has. Anyway, so there's people who fuck
I
around with clown porn and clown like role play. I'm not into that either. I have this whole Pennywise thing. I feel like you're just gonna bite off my dick. So like I can't immediately do that.
anyway.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. It's the sexual things that keep us going. You know what I mean?
Like I'm all for the tangents, but wow.
So he was a 23-year-old Brazilian farmer. Little tangents spread open. Anyway, who was working out? No, he wasn't working out. He was working at night. Dude, my eye like sight is atrocious. He was working at night to avoid the hot temperature of the day. On October 5th, 1957, he was plowing the fields. The fact that he's just plowing the fields. Anyway, he was literally plowing the fields uh, near Sao Francisco de Sales.
You are a 15-year-old.
When he saw when he said boobies. Penetration. He saw a red object in the sky, or a red. What does he call it? A red star. He described it as a red star in the night sky, according to a story. The star approached his position, growing in size until it became unrecognizable as a roughly circular or egg-shaped aerial craft. This
As
is
they
very
do.
sexually
As they
described.
do.
Okay. Anyway, it grew in size. It grew in size until it became roughly like circular or egg shaped. It's an aerial aircraft with red lights at its front and rotating. And it's rotating like it's pronounced cupola, but it's like the top part of the gyroscope that moves. And the craft began descending on the land in the field, extending three legs as it like it was tripod.
Mm-hmm.
He got that middle leg hanging. I'm sorry. As it did. So at the point, Boas decided to run from the scene. According to Boas, he first attempted to leave the scene on his tractor, but that goes like 2 miles an hour. So why would you do that? But when it's
Max, maximum effort. Like
it's like you were going at the pace of someone briskly walking.
wait,
whatever.
wait.
Really?
No,
Hey,
no,
we got to shift down to first gear.
yeah, no hate, but that's a Brazilian tractor, so it's not even probably 2 miles an hour. It's like 1 mile an hour.
That's accurately racist.
The blinkers on.
Yeah,
With the blinkers on?
no one.
No, it's
Well-
Brazil. Why would they have blinkers?
Yeah.
Anyway, so the three legs it came down and he decided to run. He tried to run from the tractor or with the tractor, but when its lights and engine died after traveling only a short distance,
See?
he decided to continue on foot, which is probably better, honestly. However, he was seized by a 5 foot tall, 150 centimeter, which, weird flex, whatever,
How did you
humanoid.
get stopped by a five? You know how 5 foot is?
I'm 5'6", so watch your shit. Anyway, humanoid
Exactly.
who was wearing gray coveralls and a helmet. Its eyes were small and blue, so it's a little different from the normal big-eyed thing.
And the
whatever,
whole
right?
helmet thing.
And the whole
That's
helmet
new.
thing, yeah. It's a little different on that one. And instead of speech, it chose to make noises like barks or yelps. That's not threatening at all. If you're like walking around and someone goes yip yip yip,
just walk by.
I'd run too. I get it.
it's like, oh, what the fuck? Why are you yelling at me?
Especially at night, just so.
Just like I'm serious.
Especially at night. Wait, what?
No, especially at night. Like some guy runs up to you in a helmet and starts barking at you. You gotta fucking leave. Like that
Fucking-
makes
What is
sense.
he, DMX?
DMX. Okay, we're done. We're done with that. We're done. Anyway, so he decided to run, and it actually barks and yells. So he escaped from that one, and then three similar beings then joined the first one, subduing Boas. His name is weird, and they dragged him inside their craft. So clearly, some BDSM is involved.
Well, just,
Light
just
BDSM.
think about that. Four of them. It took four of them to like grab him. They really wanted him. Like that's a lot. Why wouldn't you just go to the next person?
Yeah, bro. Like after like 2 attempts, I'd be like, no, this one's stupid. Clearly, you're trying to outrun us in a tractor. Get another guy.
But you wouldn't be talking like that. You go,
Yeah, he'd be like,
No, like like,
doing
it
random
just-
shit.
it just seems like that raises a red flag. Because it's like
That
like,
already seems fake to me. They
why-
can travel
why-
the speed of light, and they got out and just fucking like picked you up.
they're just running around in the field.
what
Yeah.
about the beam? Bro? What happened to
Like, what happened to the beam? Maybe it was out that day.
Well, even then, okay,
the light bulb?
no beam. All right, no beam. Why would you run after a thing you don't understand that you have to apparently like probably what I'm getting at is probe? You're gonna go running after it in a field
In this
on
scenario,
on a different planet.
see, this is why. First of all, I stopped believing in this story. I was like, I don't. This is sketchy because in this one, he's the pogo stick. We'll get into that. Anyway, so they dragged him into their
It's fine.
craft.
It's cool though. They got their helmets on.
It only gave you big eye contact.
The alien looking at him. No, in the location of Sao Francisco de Sales, Brazil. Once inside, like they put him into the craft, and then they rose up so where he could see the location of the actual
Mhm.
area. Sorry, I forgot about that. So once inside the craft, Boas said that he was stripped of his clothes and covered from head to toe in a strange gel because lubrication. You know what I mean? You can't just insert that shit raw.
Okay,
It's gonna cause
so
damage, some tearing.
You said this is like this is 1957.
Our producer
Okay.
just hung to it on the back in the
Like-
background. What?
It's 1957.
50? Yes.
He's just gay.
I don't know if they're.
He's just having a gay fantasy.
I
It's
don't know-
okay.
I don't know if
Like-
they're. I don't know if they're like. If there's lube back then, did you
But-
just spit on it then?
But like,
Come on, that-
Maybe you're right. Maybe you have a point.
like, but it's okay. I think this guy is just seriously. I think he's just gay.
I don't know because he says. Okay, hang on. Let me
Okay.
finish it. So he was then led into a large semicircular room Why do you know so many shapes? Through a doorway that had through a doorway that had strange red symbols written all over it. Boas claimed that he was able to memorize these symbols and later reproduce them for investigators.
Hold on.
Real quick, pause.
Hold on.
You can
Hold on.
memorize those, but you
He-
can't run above
No.
2 miles an hour.
No,
like
no, he can memorize symbols. He knows all these shapes, but he can't run a tractor. You're the wrong job.
Yeah, dude, you should be like
you
an
should
artist.
have been a farmer.
and
Like,
anyway,
That place sounds familiar. I think it's in California.
he was able to recognize those symbols or memorize those symbols and later reproduce them for investigators. In his room, the beings took samples of Boas's blood from his chin. All right, there's no major arteries there, but
Why
whatever.
the chin?
We don't know why the chin. We just well, anyway. After this, he was then taken to a third room and left alone uh, for around a half an hour. During this time, some kind of gas was pumped into the room. Yeah, I bet, which made Boas become violently ill. I mean, whatever, dude. Puke play. Anyway, shortly after this, Boas claimed that he was joined in the room by another humanoid. This one, however, was female, very attractive and naked. Very naked, apparently, according to his words.
you know that's come up in at least two of the cases now.
Really?
Where they remember that they're like extremely attractive.
They're
and-
extremely
Yeah.
attractive. The other one had clothes on. Not the. This one doesn't.
But
have clothes
it's like
on. I get your point.
One question: what is very naked?
I basically very naked
No
means more
sweats.
than.
Fuck you, dude.
Okay,
On
So-
some real shit, fuck you.
so she had no clothes.
Yeah.
Apparently, or maybe it means inside out. Like I don't know. At this point,
That's
it's a
what I
human.
think. When there's naked, which is not wearing anything, and then very naked, I think inside out. Like, I
Oh
don't know.
yeah,
So-
very naked, no
so-
dermis.
So she was the same height as the other beings, so a spinner, and he had encountered with a small pointed chin and a large blue cat-like eyes. Oh, that's weird. The hair on her head was long and white, somewhat like platinum blonde, but her underarm and pubic hair were bright red.
Why do you know that?
Why did you want to know that?
Why do you know the underarm?
No,
Because they had sex.
no,
Oh.
on the other end. Why do we care?
Yeah, but anyway, Boas said he was strongly attracted to the woman, you know, and the two had sexual intercourse. During this act, Boas noted that the female did not kiss him, but instead nipped him on the chin, whatever that means. When it was all over, the female smiled at Boas, rubbing her belly, and gestured upwards. Boas took this to mean that she was going to raise their child in space. Yeah, because he doesn't want the fucking child support for that. That's a lot, and God knows a conversion. Anyway, the female seemed to be relieved that their task was over. I mean, me too. And he was Brazilian, like duh. Boas himself said that he felt angered by the situation because he felt as though he had been a little more than, as he put it, a good stallion for the humanoids. But
Bro, you're just gay. It's okay.
Dude,
It's
bro,
okay.
just say it.
Bro,
Like,
It's fine.
he
It's
said
okay.
that he said that he was more than a good stallion for the humanoids.
It's okay.
Boas
It's okay.
Boas said that he was then given back his clothing and taken on a tour of the ship by the humanoids. I mean, because like if you fuck someone, you gotta. Hey, this is my bathroom. Pantry's over there. Help yourself to some snacks. I got
Go
Bro.
to an Uber.
I got juice boxes underneath the bottom sink. Like it's all good. There's
Okay.
Ubers out the
What
door.
actually happened is he was going to his boyfriend's house. The tractor fucking died, and he had to make a story, like
Right.
because he still went over there.
Or,
He had to
or
explain
the
he
time.
just wrote smut. That's it.
Anyway, during this tour, he said that he attempted to take a clock-like. I hope that says clock. Yeah, clock-like device as proof of.
Like,
as,
random doodle.
it does say clock. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure because I be saying shit and I be doing shit that's weird. Anyway, as proof of his encounter, but he was caught by the humanoids and prevented from doing so. He was then escorted off the ship and watched as it took off, glowing brightly. When Bose returned home, he discovered that 4 hours had passed, even though he thought he was only gone for a very short time. He later became a lawyer, married, and had 4 children. He stuck to his story of his alleged abduction for his entire life, though some sources say that he died in 1992 as he died January 17, 1991, even though. There was an intense investigation following the alleged claims because Boas claimed to have suffered nausea and weakness, as well as headaches and lesions on his skin, which appeared without any kind of light or bruising. Eventually, he contacted a journalist, Jose Martins, who had placed an ad in the newspaper looking for people who had experiences with UFOs. Upon hearing Boas' story, Martin contacted Olavo Fontes of the National School of Medicine in Brazil. Fontes also in contact with the American UFO Research Group, APRO. Fontes examined the farmer and concluded that he had been exposed to a large dose of radiation from some sources and was now suffering from mild radiation sickness. Writer Terry Melanson states that among Boas's symptoms, there were pains throughout his body, nausea, headaches, loss of appetite, ceaselessly burning sensations in his eyes. My eyes! Continuous lesions at the slightest light of bruising, which went on appearing for months and months, looking like small reddish nodules, harder than the skin, hardened around was the skin of like the blemishes and stuff. They were painful when he touched them, and they were small, like orificing yellow, like yellowish pus, like discharge. So they were like oozing and shit. According to the researcher Peter Rogerson, the story first became and came into light in February 1958, and the earliest definitive print reference Boa's story was from an issue of Brazilian UFO, and it was called the SBESDV Bulletin in 1962, where he stated his story. Boas was also able to recall every detail of his purported experience without any need for hypnotic regression. So it was offered to him. But he said that he remembered everything perfectly. Further, Boas' experience occurred in 1957, which was still several years from the famous Hill abduction, which made a concept of an alien abduction famous and opened the door for many others to report, which is why people thought it was a hoax initially. Um, one reason that it gained so much popularity was because of the sexual component that they had. Also, because people thought because he was an illiterate peasant farmer, why would he make up a story? Which actually is the exact opposite for me. I feel like he would make up a story for that. But that is the story of Antonio Vilas Boas. Now that we've gone through it, go.
That dude's gay.
That dude's gay.
I'm sorry. Like you want me to believe aliens not only tried to like contact you, they like beat you up
And then raped you.
and then gave you a sexy cat woman
With a
Literally. With a big
with a
chin.
big chin to
So
impregnate and raise your children in the stars. Right. I'm sorry. Oh, and they almost let you steal their shit.
they like right, exactly. Like if they're advanced species, like wouldn't they be able to like telepathically read that you're gonna steal their
Well,
shit?
others can, and maybe like they all knew like what he was doing, so they kind of just like played along. But um, Stallion. Like,
Yeah. I'm also not
like,
gonna lie. I'm also not gonna lie. Like also like think about it. If you were abducted by aliens and they were fine, like wouldn't you remember the position that you like? Why didn't you mention that? You bragged about everything else.
Death by Snoo Snoo.
Death by Snoo Snoo. Please just leave the studio.
But like it's
leave the studio
like
immediately.
it just
Leave the
doesn't
studio. Don't do it.
like
You can't make it up anymore.
not even like okay. Let's say you get abducted, they're all hot. They want to like
They want to do the bionic seahorse with you.
interspecies intercourse.
Yeah.
Like
The tentacle jammer. I'm aware of that.
even with all that, you get back. The words he's using to
No, he
describe
got
this
back.
stuff.
He got back.
Yeah, the words he was using, it doesn't sound like someone who was like trauma or had any problems with any of this or like
Yeah.
like a normal person would. They'd be like, especially someone who is like an illiterate farmer. They're not gonna be like, "Oh, that was cool."
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, "What the hell just happened?"
And like there was no injuries at all, no nothing. Like not even. I mean, minus the radiation stuff that he had, like the minor scrapes and stuff. Like not even carpal tunnel from the high fives of him and his like peasant homies. Like, come on, bro.
It just like the radiation sickness. I don't know what that is, but like like what
But
could have
also,
caused that for him. But I just it's just it's too
it doesn't show.
ridiculous.
It doesn't show what. Okay, what gets me about the radiation thing? It doesn't show you how much radiation he had. Because even if you're experiencing high doses of radiation and mild symptoms, okay, what fucking level were the radiation levels at? You know, like
I almost want to be like, hey, guys who
did
like
you use a Geiger counter? Like,
no, just be like, hey, how many ohms was he at? Oh, 12,000. Cool. Ohms don't
yeah,
register.
ohms don't even register.
Ohms don't register that, so that's not real.
Like, so like, did they use a Geiger counter? And if they did, how come none of them, when they experienced him, how come none of them got sick? They would have automatically gotten sick. They would have
maybe not to his level, but
automatically
it'd be
got
something.
scratched out.
Because he said it was mildly.
It was
High levels
mild.
of radiation, but mild symptoms of radiation
Oh,
poisoning.
Yeah,
So
it just
meaning within a radius
Yeah.
of like,
They would have
yeah, you would have gotten sick. You would have gotten
Or
scratched
you
out
would've
immediately.
died.
it's just
Maybe not died, but you would have gotten sick. If he's not dying, you're not gonna die. But he
Yeah.
would have gotten sick immediately.
and it's just like I don't know how he would get the radiation. I don't know. That part I don't know, but I mean, maybe the story he has is what they wanted. They were trying to like make a story for him instead of what they actually did to him.
Yeah.
Like,
Or-
'cause it just
But why didn't they test him? Like, why didn't they test him for like any different type of DNA?
But that's the thing, that they did test him. But how did they test him? They don't say how they tested him, but they just said that they tested him. And the point that I was trying to make with you is that the reason I'm kind of sketchy about it is that he called a UFO researcher, and the UFO researcher called a doctor. So by calling a doctor or researcher that is in a medical field, or for radiation, whatever, you have a predisposition of UFO. You're no longer biased. If you just call a random doctor and go, what's going on with this person? He can be like, I don't know, let me put him through tests, and he'll do everything and then be like, oh yeah, this is the thing. Like, if we had an unbiased doctor that said, yeah, he has radiation poisoning, he has this amount of, whatever the count is for radiation, he has this amount of whatever, which is the equivalent to this many chest x-rays or whatever, and give you like a solid point of reference, then I'd be like, oh, okay, that's weird, that makes sense.
and
Like, that's a little bit more out there, or less out there.
It's too. This story is way too convenient. Way too many times.
Yeah.
Why did they want him? Oh well, he's good breeding material. I mean, was he?
Was he? I don't
Like,
know.
I mean, I just that's where I'm at the they implanted something like to make him think, oh, like I'm having sex with a beautiful alien woman.
And maybe they're just trying to see how he behaves with that implant or whatever, which could be true 100%. But again, it's like, do you even believe that he got abducted? Like, is that even something that's going on? Because
I'm trying to give him the benefit of that.
If you got abducted though, like, you wouldn't be rational enough to get on a tractor and get out and try to get out. You wouldn't be, because tractors are slow, so you know that. You're a farmer, and if you don't know that, you're in the wrong profession. And also, second of all, if you decide to run, like, if you're gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna get out of here, and you know the tractor's slow, you have to get up on the tractor and turn it on. Isn't that too much time? Wouldn't you just be like, I'm out?
I think that actually kind of goes against your point, because think of how irrational that is. You're like, oh, I gotta get in a vehicle, I gotta go, and then you get in the tractor. You know what I mean? And you're like, fuck, like what am I doing? And then then you leave.
But that's to me, that sounds like what someone would expect you to think would be an irrational answer.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it sounds like that's, oh, I did that because that's a normal reaction. It's like, but that's not a normal
The
reaction.
reaction to seeing something strange
Is
funny.
run.
I think it depends.
Especially if you were scared enough to run away from them and they grabbed you.
I think it depends on if you're familiar with it. Like if you're not a farmer, if you don't really know tractors,
Yeah,
you might be like, oh, vehicle, let's go. And then you're like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, why are
and
we
then you
going
just
a brisk
run. Yeah.
2 miles an hour?
Yeah, and then you'd run. But yeah, no, that is true. Like as a farmer, you would know it's slow. So, or use the tractor. It's slow, but maybe try and hit him. But he didn't do that, so
Yeah, exactly.
he just just run away then. Like
Yeah, for me, like again, if you're a farmer and everything, my first thought would be get the fuck out of here, run, because I
yeah,
can at least lose you in my crops, or I can, you know what I mean? Why would I take the tractor? I'm a walking target, and I'm going slow. I just think
and
that
you're at
that's
night.
yeah.
Just go hide.
I think that for me that sounds like a normal, like what they think a normal person would do. And he's just like, if he's trying to make it up, you know how if you like ever get in trouble and like with your parents and they're like, well, did you check this? You know, as a matter of fact, I did, and this, you know what I mean? And they're
Mm.
like, yeah, that's not a normal reaction because you wouldn't do that. If you actually checked it, you would have been able to see that. Stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And maybe I'm off on that, but I think it was what they expected to do. And then also with, I think the sexual component of his story was the only way he could explain that he didn't get hurt
Yeah,
because they needed him for something.
I just it's a
It's
lot.
it's just hard.
It's a lot. Those kind of stories are the ones I believe the least. Where they're like, oh yeah, and then we did. I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and maybe
Like
maybe he really had an encounter, and maybe it was really of that nature. But it's like, if it is, why would you?
maybe it was so horrifying, his brain made all that stuff up
Maybe he
to like
really
cope. Like he couldn't handle what actually happened,
what actually really happened to him. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a good one. Like he might have done it as an escape route and everything like that.
and he
That could
doesn't
be
even
true.
realize that that's what happened.
And maybe that's why he turned down the hypnosis.
Yeah,
Maybe he was
like he
afraid
doesn't
that
want to know.
yeah, maybe he's afraid that they're gonna be like, oh, it's not really that, and he's gonna relive all of it, because that could be it too. Because like you said, maybe they have like a calming effect and everything like that. So I
I
can
just
definitely see where that would be.
what what do you do with that?
It's hard to
Like,
believe, dude. But that's the reason why I picked it, because last time I picked like the most compelling stories, like where they're like, even though some of them were like, okay, this is bullshit. There were some of them where you're like, at least like, that's a little harder to explain. But this one's like, bro, you're delusional. You know, get out of here.
I think one of the only ones I actually believe is the Betty and Barney Hill one.
Which one? What do you mean the Benny and Barney Hill one? I thought you
They brought
believed
up
in the Valentage.
yes, but like actual like things that like the highest percentage that I've ever like
Oh,
that
okay,
like
got you.
I because it's like because back then if I remember it, they were an interracial couple like especially back in the day like why the like if it didn't happen why would you bring that kind of attention to
To
yourself
yourself, you're
back in
already
the day
pick a struggle.
like you would not do that unless something fucking happened
Yeah,
like
unless
that is
something
not
really
that
occurred.
it doesn't make sense because like
See, like
why would you do that to yourself
if we go
what
back,
did what would you gain
nothing. If we go back to like the ones that we did last week, where we did the Walton case, that one I believe that something happened just for the sole fact, not his story. His story I think is kind of like exaggerated or made up, but the actual encounter, I think he got abducted by aliens. I think he actually did that is because of the way his friends reacted. That the fact that they bolted and they were like, "Later, homie, you on your own," and then they came back and they were like, "Hey, give us lie detector tests. Like, do this. Like we'll pass it
like
for you.
we're
Like we'll do
not
whatever."
lying we're
Yeah,
yeah
we're genuinely worried about our fucking friend who was here and now is fucking gone. Like, help us. Like, that's different. Like, that to me sounds like, all right, we got to go to
yeah
someone. You know what I mean? Like,
something
has
happened
something happened? Something happened that they couldn't explain and they weren't aware of how to explain it. This one, I think maybe you
yeah
might be right. It might be just too traumatic or it didn't happen.
yeah I don't like what do we even do with this like I get it universe is weird trust me I
Yeah.
understand but that seems way too human of a story
Yeah. Too human isk.
like a human fantasy like oh I gotta take off in a spaceship and I gotta have sex with a beautiful like alien woman
Like Andy said, I've seen this porno before. They made me put my
that
credit card.
it's just
Link in bio. Link in bio for the porn.
no
I'm just saying. No, but like it sounds fantastical because of the fact that you're again, which could either be the trauma or the fact that it actually really or it didn't happen, because of the fact that for me, I still it's hard for me to believe you have the ability to travel space and time, and you want to fuck
they want to fuck the stallion
the stallion,
Not only do they want
the
to
Brazilian stallion.
they want to fuck a human. Why a human? You're an advanced species.
Yeah,
You
why?
go to different
Yeah, why
Yeah.
human? Why are you
Why?
settling for the B class of the humanoids? Like some offense, but not really offense. But anyway, so I can conclude that you don't believe in this at all, not even a little
No,
bit.
no,
Me neither, honestly. Did you want to add anything before this case
the
closes?
hell am I
'Cause-
supposed to add? That's freaking weird. Like, and if someone gets mad because they called him gay, it's like, dude, what am I supposed to think? Because that does happen when people are like sexually repressed. All of a sudden, they start thinking weird stuff. So, who knows?
Yeah. The SpongeBob SquarePants shorts say, or pants beg to differ. Anyway, the point is, um, the point is with this case, it's very 2D. I think it's very flat. I think it has all the aspects that people expect from abduction, without any of the proof. So for me, this one goes as not true.
No, no,
Not true at all.
no.
I'll probably put some of the pictures on here so you can see it. He looks like
No, don't put the pictures on here. We'll get it freaking taken down.
he looks like a Brazilian Joseph.
Oh, of the
Mengele.
guay. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Don't like
No, not the
illustrations
sex.
of what's going on. I'm like,
No.
no. What are you doing?
Oh, I had to put the whole fucking Kama Sutra up here.
That'd be funny, like stick figures.
Just
You'd
bang,
probably
bang,
still
bang.
get taken down.
I probably would
Yeah.
get taken down.
So
I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm gonna put pictures of the guy clothed. He looks like a fucking Brazilian Joseph Mengele. It's hilarious. But anyway, all right. I think that actually does
it
it
is
for the
57.
for the
Anyway,
what? It is 57. Wait a minute.
Anyway,
Where's my tablet?
I don't know.
I might be able to. No, I'll look
Yeah.
at it later.
All right.
I'm not gonna lie. That look. He has Nazi tendencies at least.
You used to the guy.
That's why he described a chamber. Oh shit! It's me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The alien was white, wasn't she? Anyway, I think
Platinum
that's,
blonde hair.
yeah, I think that's Aryan, we could say. I think that's enough for us today, and I'm sure you out there have had enough of us today.
For real.
But we'll see you on the road.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.